They say winning ain't everything. Well, we don't have them type conversations over here, man. Had that conversation with the losers. We trying to win at everything we do. Even in the loss, we don't see defeat. We see a lesson learned. Straight up. Look, I came into this world in 1978. The doc looked me in my face and knew I was something great. 45, 42 Prescott, that's where I'm from. Grew up in the slums around dope dealers and bums. As humble as I was, I adapted to my habitat. In my own lane though, far from where they crashing at. Dumb bar graduate, the game I'd have mastered it. Served in the Navy, look, y'all don't know the half of it. Pops passed in '01, moms passed last year. I know they up in heaven smiling down, crying mad tears, cause they son making it. No telling where I'm taking it. My city been cursed, but I feel that I'm breaking it. Coached at Wayne High in 15 in one state. Seen the fork in the road and went straight. I know what I'm worth, I'm OG King Kirk. Brooklyn Nets gaming crew legend, let's work.
Hey, this is OG King Kurt, your host of the OG2CENTS podcast. I want to thank each and every one of you who continue to tune in each and every Sunday. We truly appreciate it. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share it. If you're listening on audio, make sure you give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. Helps us out a lot. Links for all available streaming platforms will be available in the description. Let's continue to stand up against any form of social justice and racism. Also, let's spread more love and not hate. This episode is brought to you by Zenni Blocks. Make sure to armor your eyes with Zenni Blocks virtual clear blue blockers. It's important to protect your eyes from the harmful blue lights from your digital screens, so you have less eye strain, and that makes for better sleep and performance. Check them out at zenni.com/gaming or follow them at Zenni Gaming on Twitter and Instagram. This episode number 60, special to me. This is someone who plays a large role outside of me being Ivan Curtis. His name is Justin Jacobson, ESQ. He's an entertainment and sports attorney, professor, and author of the Essential Guide to the Business and Law of Esports and Professional Video Gaming. So without further ado, Justin Jacobson, how you doing?
I'm great, man. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you on, man. This is a little different. Like, no, I'm putting you on the hot seat, but you normally handling my affairs and help making my life a lot easier. So now I get a chance to put you on and let people know what you're all about.
Awesome. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. So just to get started, let's hear your story and how you got to where you are today.
So I'm originally from Long Island, New York. I went to Hewitt High School and then went on to George Washington University in Washington, D.C. for college. And from there, I went to Turo Law Center, which is in Long Island. And after that, I became a lawyer. And, I kind of started in the entertainment industry during college. I was very involved in different nightclubs and working with different DJs and, musicians and celebrities, and just really involved in that. And during law school, I was, managing a DJ. So really kind of getting the day-to-day of working with talent and kind of how you work with them. And after law school, I just kind of, began working as an attorney and started out in the music and sports and fashion and art world, and working with professional athletes and musicians and DJs and producers and songwriters and street artists and, celebrity fashion designers and stylists and just a lot of people in this really more traditional entertainment world. And that's just kind of what I was doing up until I kind of fell into esports.
Yeah. So through that time, like what was some the unique experience you had in dealing with a lot of celebrities and entertainers as such?
I mean, I would say New York Fashion Week was really cool. And, when the Super Bowl was here in New York was pretty awesome. I threw like a pretty big Super Bowl party where like Marshawn Lynch came. And, then that Sunday he went and won the Super Bowl. And, a few other Seahawks were there and a few of my clients that I worked with. And, there was like 10 NFL players. And it was just like an awesome time. And it was, invite only. So you only really had people that were kind of meant to be there. And Marshall Lynch was going crazy. He was dancing with everyone, like jumping on the tables, and it was just like an amazing kind of energy that like you only can have in New York City, and a once in a lifetime thing of really the Super Bowl being here.
Now, your step into esports. How was that birth?
Well, yeah, I've always loved video games. I'm a big 2K and Madden and FIFA guy, and StarCraft 2 were definitely some, guilty pleasures. And, I really game in some form every day. I have this mobile fighting game I like, and probably play 2K more hours than, I care to admit. So it's always kind of been part of how me and my friends interact, and just been part of who I was. And, about 5 years ago, I really kind of understood what was going on in this really high level in the competitive gaming scene, and with players playing for six figures or more, and really just kind of opened my eyes to what was going on here. And I kind of began researching the space, connecting with some attorneys that were already in it and different professionals, and really kind of seeing what it was all about. And from there I kind of noticed that I could come in with like a different approach in a different lane, because I was much more born and bred entertainment and music and sports, where I noticed most of the other, attorneys doing it at this high level were kind of born and bred esports. They're friends with the gamers, friends with the team owners, who there's just kind of like they were really just born in that endemic space. And I noticed that with my network and the experience and different connections I had, I could approach things differently. And from there, I just started to link with some, pretty established talent agents, and was kind of just helping them with different player deals and familiarizing myself with working with the teams. And after a few months of that, I kind of went on my own. And for the last few years, I've kind of just been working with different players and coaches and casters and brands and teams, and just really kind of lending my expertise.
Well, with that being said, talk about your role with Ford's Models and its gaming and talent division, and
Yes.
mention some people that's on your roster.
Well, yeah, last summer I was brought in by Ford Models, which, if you're not familiar, is a luxury high-end talent and modeling agency that's, an internationally known brand and agency. And they kind of brought me in to create this esports and gaming talent division under their existing digital influencer platform, to really kind of give additional offerings to the brands they were working with. And there's just a lot of synergy between what was happening in the esports and gaming space and some of the brands they were already kind of connected with. And, we work with really unique people like, OG2CENTS and WNBA player and Team Liquid streamer Ariel Powers, and former NFL player Mon Green, who's also a college esports coach, and Larry Ridley, who's a pretty well-known caster, and work with some, really unique Fortnite player Skeptic and Brittany Johnson. So we have a really unique talent pool from pro gamers, coaches, streamers, casters, and just, general media personalities, including the hip hop gamer who's, affiliated with Hot 97.
Wow, that's great. Let's talk about your latest book, the essential guide to the business and law of esports and professional video gaming. Now, before you get started, you know, make sure that you listen to what he has to say and go out and get this book. I just want to read the note that was sent to me. It was, "Dear OG, I am so happy to have connected with you, and I'm excited about the possibilities to continue to grow and work together in the future. With that said, I wanted to thank you for all the support on my journey so far. And as a token of my appreciation, I wanted to enclose a copy of my book, The Essential Guide to Business and Law of Esports and Professional Video Gaming. As a sneak peek, take a look at page 14. Keep up the amazing work, and I'm excited to keep building with you. Thanks for believing in me. Sincerely yours, Justin Jacobson." Now, I'm not going to tell you what's on page 14. You got to go get the book. And you go get the book, then you can find out what's on page 14. Now, go ahead, Justin, and tell us about this wonderful book.
Well, yeah. So, there's definitely a lot of really useful information in it. And is my recent release textbook that's essentially meant to give you a guide to the esports business and law. We kind of start setting the stage where you look at the what I call the different players in the esports business ecosystem, where you look at the gaming talent, which is the pro gamers and the streamers and the casters and coaches and really just everyone that's involving in this talent world. Then you look at the esports teams and organizations, and then the different event operators and the game publishers, and you kind of explains who they are and kind of how they earn income. And then it really kind of moves on to different legal issues as it relates to esports. So it's like copyrights and trademarks, and then immigration and visas and player unions and employment law and business investments and tax write-offs, and just really useful information that I think a lot of individuals might not know or might not understand. Looks at music licensing and why you need to have this licensed music and why the whole DMCA issues come in. Looks at social media disclosures like hashtag ad and sponsored, these really important things that I feel like a lot of people overlook, but there are real ramifications, and it has to do with FTC and endorsement and testimonial. So there's a lot of legal stuff at play that I don't think the average person realizes. And you know the basis of everything is a copyright. The video game that everybody plays is a copyrighted work that's owned by the developer, the people that create it. So the whole entire system is through all these legal licenses. And I think it was important to kind of go through it and explain it. And I think the most unique part is I have a contract section where I kind of look through a major player agreement and a caster agreement and a coach agreement and a sponsorship agreement, and kind of go through some of the unique clauses that are seen in a lot of these agreements, especially at the the tier 1 level, and give you some ideas of some negotiation tips, and really give you a little glimpse into how I might approach it, because a lot of this information isn't public. And if you're not doing it at this consistent level, you're just not going to get access to this kind of material. So, I kind of created it as for all readers of all ages, whether you're a high school student or a college student or, a professional or practitioner. I get all these insurance people and wealth management and all these people that are really trying to look at the space. And it was like, this is the guide that you need. This gives you an idea of how people are doing it, how sponsorship deals are structured, what deliverables might be, and how to really operate it. So if you're a player that's trying to understand, okay, these are might be tax write-offs that I might not realize, like my new equipment or my webcam or even the game I'm playing, that could be a write-off. The VC that you're spending for giveaways, there's just so many things that once you start looking at it from a business perspective, you can really understand. And from there, it was really just meant for someone who maybe wanted to start a team or wanted to run their own events to understand, okay, these are 10 tips for running an event. These are things you have to look out for. This is what you need to make sure a venue that you're selecting have, because there's a lot of things that, a regular place might, a bar or club or a lounge might not have in order to do a gaming event. You need high-speed internet. You need to have the right amount of electrical output, things that you don't really think about. But if you load up 20 computers and all this other stuff and you don't have the juice for it, trust me, that event's going to end quick.
Right.
And you don't think about that when you're selecting a venue, like, oh, we need to get extra electrical output for this event because there's going to be all these computers running for hours.
No, agreed. You're a manager. You manage talent. Talk about like what you look for in signing a talent.
Well, yeah, in the role with Ford, it's really kind of a talent and development kind of avenue where we're selecting unique individuals to really kind of help grow them and bring them over this next level, whether it's, different strategic partnerships and growth, whether it's, different brands and sponsorship opportunities, or, just appearances on, whether it's a public appearance or just at a university or on, another kind of podcast like this, just doing things to kind of open up, who they are and bring them to a new marketplace. So that when we're looking for talent, really looking for someone who's personable and has a good work ethic. And, you have to be able to speak on camera and be engaging with your fans and, really kind of willing to do what it takes to succeed. In the talent world, there are really kind of levels, or it's like, certain people are all kind of at levels, and you have to start doing things to distinguish yourself from the other people at these levels in order to, as they say, level up. And I think that you need someone who is dedicated and wants this as badly as you do. And I think that's the biggest thing I look for. It's like, it's great if you're awesome and you have all these things going for you, but if you don't put in the time, you don't have the work ethic and really want to do it, you're really not going to succeed. You're really only going to hit a piece of what you could go, only a spark of your potential. And I'll be honest, like I've dropped people that I don't believe have the right mindset and work ethic because I can't waste my time on people that aren't going to put in what you need to grow. They're not going to follow through in what they say. It's like, I'm not your mother where it's like, I'm going to remind you to do something 10 times. It's like, hey, let's come up with an idea. This is a great idea. You like it. Let's make it happen, And if you don't want to make it happen because you have 20 other things going on, then just say it, And I think that having the ethic to be like, okay, this is great. Let's do it. And then once you start doing it, the people that listen, it pays dividends. There's really a situation where what I say is wrong in these, things when it's kind of vetted and you all talk about it. So, I think someone that's open to feedback and, was willing to put in the time. Like, it's hard to be a star, right? It's hard.
Right. Now, with that being said, um, a lot of people think that management companies or agencies are doing all the work. What is the responsibility of the talent?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think your responsibility is to kind of put in the same amount of effort or more, like you can only bring a horse to water. You can't force it to, to drink. So it's one of these things where it's like, we can help you. We can, tell you why you should do this, give you all the pros, cons, talk about it, for however many hours as it's needed. But at the end of the day, it's on you. Like there was an opportunity that one of players we worked with had that me and a few other people that were advising him all thought it was a great opportunity. This is the move. Like you should do this. It's going to open a lot more doors. And the talent just didn't want to do it. He didn't feel like the offer was right and that he had a certain value in his head. And at the end of the day, that's his decision. Do I think it was the right one? Not necessarily, but he has to live with the decision.
Right. What did you see in me to sign me?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's, you're obviously a legend in the space, but, even more than that, you're, well respected, well spoken, and, you kind of take everything you do in this professional light where everything you do is top quality and reflects you, but you're also kind of willing to take chances and, casting or hosting a podcast and really kind of understanding that all these other avenues are what is going to help you grow. That if you're just, a coach for a team, that is just such a limiting track. There's so many more avenues that you can use this, essentially where you are in the world, the connections you have and where you've kind of achieved in your career. So, the fact that you see it and are kind of willing to do it is, what's important because, as my previous point, a lot of people are like, oh, yes, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. But they're not willing to just be like, okay, well, you're at episode 60, which means at one point you're just like, I'm just going to do it. Like, you didn't know who you were going to get or if you were going to have a sponsor or you just figured I'm going to do this. I know it's a good idea. It's going to, open X, Y, and Z. And, how long have you been doing it for? Over a year now?
Yeah, yeah, and I'm a counter and say this is that what I'm the same things quality that you talking about in signing me, but I'm glad to have you on my side. I'll tell you anybody out there is that anytime I hit up Justin about an idea, we break it down, we talk about it, and we see how we're gonna go execute it. And then anytime I contact him, he always hits me right back. And anytime we get contracts and everything in the motion, it's like spot on. Like, I mean, and I'm not the only person that he deals with. So just that urgency and promptness and everything like that, it's truly reassuring when we're trying to get things done. And I definitely appreciate you for that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you want people that are wanting to make it happen just as badly as you do because everyone wants to be successful and to, hit, okay, I want to do X, Y, and Z. So you need someone that's, well, okay, like, let's do this. Let's, this is the plan. This is how we're going to achieve it. Let's, make it happen.
Right. Now this part of the show is OG wants to know. Rapid fire questions. Answer open as honestly as possible. Biggest influence.
Well, in real life, I would say, my dad, he's an entertainment attorney. So I've kind of been molded under him. And, I would say that we have a lot of similarities in a lot of things. And, more on the on screen, I would say Ari Gold and, his character in Entourage definitely, motivates me to want to try to be, super agent Ari Gold.
Got you. What motivates you?
Kind of my wife and the family that we're building and just really trying to do better. I think that that's the biggest thing you can have is, constantly trying to excel and pushing forward and kind of one-upping what you just did. Like I just got a really big article on Esports Observer and that was, great for me that it's like, it's been a while since I had like a real good article on there that I wrote and they finally accepted one.
Well, biggest accomplishment.
Well, writing my textbook, and actually this semester I'm teaching with the textbook at University of North Carolina, Wilmington. So to be able to actually have a class using my textbook and, the feedback I've been getting from the students has been really positive and they really, enjoying it. And then just to get random messages from, colleagues or just people I don't even know on LinkedIn, like, hey, I just got a copy of your book. It's really great. Or, some attorney in Hawaii is like, oh, I'm going to use it for my class that I'm going to be teaching. So, just to kind of have this positive feedback to something that you don't really know. Like it's such a novel area. I was really the first person to kind of come at it from this legal angle. Most of the written material is really just very historical or like this is what sponsorship is. Like it's just very facial. And, spending the last about 5 years deep in it on a daily basis, I felt that I was in a position to kind of, bring the veil back. So to kind of have it done and then just to see with my name on it, it was just like, wow, I wrote a book.
Favorite sports team.
I'm a New York guy, so we got, the Jets, Yankees, Rangers, and Knicks. But I will say the Nets are definitely in there. So, like I worked with some Giants. So the Giants, I'm not against the Giants the same way I might be against, a Boston team.
Gotcha. Favorite quote.
Well, yes, I mean, I think kind of it's, I think just do it is just an amazing slogan. And then something that I always look in is, Scooter Braun had once said in an article is, trust your gut and to go with your gut no matter what. Because at the end of the day, if you don't and you go with the logical answer and you're wrong, it's like, oh, I should have went with my gut. Like, like I knew I was right. But if you go with your gut and you're wrong, it's like, at least I went with my gut and I trusted in myself. And, I think that's, a really important, mantra to have.
Yeah. Favorite actor and actress.
So this is a really hard one. So, definitely, George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Denzel Washington, Al Pacino, De Niro, like, definitely a big movie and classics guy, but, there's not one that's like he is that.
Favorite actress.
I was definitely a big Sarah Michelle Gellar fan. I don't know if she's an actress.
That's like classic now.
Yes, I definitely enjoyed some Buffy in my day.
Favorite genre of music.
So I'm a big classic rock and hip hop guy. The Doors, the Who, and the Rolling Stones, and then Jay-Z, Biggie, Tupac, Eminem, Nas, Common, Talib, and Most. That would probably be like the top for me.
Got you. Favorite movie of all time.
So I'm a big Tarantino fan. So Pulp Fiction, True Romance, Reservoir Dogs, Marvel movies. Some Star Wars, and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. So definitely really enjoy some movies and music.
Favorite athlete.
Well, obviously you can't go wrong with Derek Jeter, and then the great one Wayne Gretzky himself. And I'll give an honorable mention to Mariano Rivera because whenever he goes in, it's just like, okay, game's over. This is another win. So it's always just one of those things as a, Yankee fan growing up to watch someone just as professional and awesome as Mo just, enter Sandman, and that was a wrap.
Got you. Now, what would you be doing if you wasn't doing what you're doing now?
I mean, I think I would definitely be involved in the entertainment world. So, maybe running a record label, involved in a record label, or maybe a nightclub. But I always kind of thought that might have been a path, being involved in some, a live performance venue and just kind of really programming it with, different talent and, people that I knew. But, thank God that's not the route, right? It's pretty
Right.
tough out there for venues.
Right. Now, what's next for Justin Jacobson?
So, I'll be teaching some more classes. There'll be a new class I'll be teaching in the fall. I'll also be teaching a high school level class. So that'll be really exciting. And speaking on more panels, and I'm right now working on, a high school level esports curriculum, as well as potentially a law school one, and just keep growing within the space. I'm really interested in what's going on in NFTs and all that kind of stuff, because I think there's just a lot of unique, ways to integrate it into the entertainment and sports and gaming worlds. And, I'm excited for that, because I think that that's just kind of the start. We're just at the start of these things. Everyone sees NBA Top Shot and how obsessed people were with that. And, I think it's just, like I said, the start of it. Every league is going to have it. Every entertainment property is going to have it. It's just going to be the norm.
Got you. How can people follow you and what you do, and plug away everything, the book, the social channels, everything?
Well, yeah, definitely follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Justin JESQ. My DMs are open, so if you ever have a question, definitely feel free to reach out. And jacobsonfirm.com has my email and lots of different articles and just information in general. And we also have esportslaw.biz, which is, the new kind of esports and gaming page that we created. That's a resource. And, the namesake Worldwide Just. And, that was something that I created for the NBA 2K community as a way to kind of provide, again, a resource for individuals that are trying to get in the pro-am scene, interested in my team, interested in really what's going on at the competitive level worldwide, because there's a lot going on. And, I think to have a place where you can go, okay, well, this is what's going on with all the different teams. This is what the leagues are doing. This is, some draft tips. I put out a bunch of different articles of, things that I still think is true to this day of, these are things you want to do if you want to position yourself, to make the league. This is how you're going to grow. These are the people you have to connect with. These are the leagues you need to be involved in. And, I think it speaks for itself when you see the people that are involved in the league at the highest level, the trajectory and the path that they've taken. So, there's a lot of stuff out there. And, as I said, I'm always happy to engage with anyone.
Well, I'll tell you this, Justin. I appreciate you. I know everything you've done for me, and there ain't no telling what's in store for the future. Especially as the world starts progressing forward. If anybody's out there looking for a manager that you can depend on, that's going to back you 100%, handle everything in a professional manner and get the job done, and I guarantee you, you need to contact Justin Jacobson. He's changed my my entertainment career, and just it's continuing to move forward. We got a lot of things in store for the rest of 2021. Can't talk about it now, but definitely, when the time permits, you'll know about it. But just Justin, thanks again for coming on. I appreciate you.
My pleasure. I appreciate the kind words, and, keep doing the great job that you're doing.
Indeed. And for everybody out there that's watching or listening to the OG2CENTS podcast, make sure you can find us, subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and of course the YouTube channel. You can follow the OG2CENTS podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can follow myself, OG King Kurt, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Shout out to my team, Strider Visuals, Box Graphics, and Cy Evermore for continuing to help make the OG2CENTS podcast what it is today. Make sure you subscribe to my second YouTube channel, the OG King Kurt. I'll be posting a lot of different things here soon. It's under development, but we'll be doing a lot of different things on there aside from the podcast. Make sure you check out EsportsXTRA every Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from anywhere from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's with host Larry Ridley, the crew, Kelly Wells Brinkley, Antonio Williams, Derwin Royale, and Kevin Mamuzet. That's Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 6 p.m. To 8 p.m. And that's twitch.tv/compete forever, and on YouTube and Facebook Gaming. Make sure you tune in to next week's episode. And remember, if it makes sense, it's an OG2CENTS. OG out.
Put this work in, fellas. And much love to the entire 2K community for always showing me love. Without y'all, we wouldn't be here. Yeah.